a sloth the size of an elephant to an elephant that weighed over 24 tons. Here are 13 of the largest land mammals ever. This is Throwback Thursdays. And before we get into our list, we have to thank Jalen Smith Molina for this larger-than-life suggestion. Thank you so much for the subscriber support, Jalen. And if you out there have an idea for future episodes, let us know in the comments. Number 13. The Gigantopithecus was estimated at around 12 feet long, but it was a huge pig. The prehistoric porker was nearly the size of a rhino, weighing about a ton. They inhabited North America and first appeared around 29 million years ago. Josephorticasia, or giant prehistoric rodent. Now, the capybara is regarded as the largest rodent in the world today. They can measure more than 4 feet long and weigh nearly 150 pounds, so there is certainly nothing Mickey Mouse about that, until you consider the size of this prehistoric rodent. It measured 10 feet long and weighed over a ton, but it didn't have a taste for cheese, or meat for that matter. This gigantic rodent was native to South America around 4 million years ago and was ferocious enough to fight off saber-toothed cats. Gigantopithecus. King Kong's got nothing on this ape. Its very name means giant ape. Fossils of the primates have been found from China to India and indicate they stood around 10 feet tall and weighed over 1,000 pounds, which would make it bigger than a polar bear. This creature wasn't only big, it had a pretty big lifespan, existing from around 9 million years ago to as recently as 100,000 years ago. Because the timeline overlapped with that of certain hominid species, experts have theorized that early humans may have played a role in their extinction, but this has not been definitively proven as yet. Did you know that we feature a lot of giant hominid creatures like Bigfoot on Crypto Fun Friday, and some cryptozoologists have theorized that Bigfoot and the Yeti could belong to a lost population of Gigantopithecus that somehow survived to the present day? What do you think? Glyptodont. Can you imagine an armadillo the size of a Volkswagen Beetle? Well, that pretty much sums up this prehistoric critter that lived during the Pleistocene. This huge armored mammal weighed about a ton and had squat limbs with a rounded bony shell, which actually made it resemble a turtle, albeit a bit flat. There is some evidence that humans may have hastened the animal's extinction because the shells may have been used for shelter during hostile weather. Smilodon. This isn't the biggest critter on the list, but it may have the best name recognition. Smilodon is the saber-toothed cat, although it's often called the saber-toothed tiger, even though it's not closely related to tigers or to other modern cats. They lived in North and South America during the Pleistocene epoch around 2.5 million years ago. The elongated upper canine teeth measured around 7 inches or 18 centimeters long, and that's long enough to extend from the cat's mouth even when it was closed. Although the blade-like teeth were adapted for precision killing, they were actually fragile. 3 species of this critter have been identified, the largest of which was found in South America. It weighed in at close to 900 pounds and nearly 4 feet high. Those animals died out around 10,000 years ago, but experts still have not found out an exact cause for their extinction. Giant short-faced bear. These creatures inhabited South America after migrating from North America, where some of their cousins remained for up to 11,000 years ago. The South American variety is thought to have been the biggest and most powerful carnivore on land in its time. They existed up to around 500,000 years ago. A bear skeleton discovered in Argentina in 1935 was re-examined by experts in 2011, and extensive analysis revealed the animal would have stood at least 11 feet tall upright, while weighing some 3,500 pounds. While it may not have been smarter than the average bear, it's considered the biggest bear yet found. Giant wombats, weighing up to 3 tons. Diprotodon is the largest marsupial known to have ever existed, before going extinct around 46,000 years ago. Fossils of complete skeletons have been found in the native Australia, where the creatures are also called giant wombats. The biggest specimens have been about the size of a hippo, almost 10 feet long from nose to tail, and weighing more than 6,000 pounds. The closest existing relatives today are koalas and wombats. Elasmotherium. This animal was native to Eurasia, first appearing more than 2.5 million years ago. The creature was covered in shaggy fur and is considered to be the largest rhino, measuring around 20 feet long while weighing about 4 tons. Of the 3 species known, one was nearly the size of a mammoth, and experts think it had a huge, thick horn located on its forehead. It's not known exactly what the horn was used for, but some theories speculate it could have been used for attracting mates, for self-defense, or for digging for water and plants. Like all rhinos, these critters were herbivores. They're thought to have lived as late as 29,000 years ago. Giant ground sloths. Modern sloths are tree-dwelling mammals found in the jungles of Central and South America and can weigh up to 14 pounds, give or take. But way back in the day, their prehistoric ancestors grew to phenomenal sizes. Imagine a sloth the size of an elephant. Megatherium means great beast, and its size was exceeded by only a few other land mammals, such as mammoths. They could measure more than 20 feet from head to tail and weigh in excess of 4 tons. Unlike arboreal sloths of today, these prehistoric critters preferred the ground. Not surprising given how massive they were. They're thought to have been hunted to extinction by humans around 11,000 years ago. The steppe mammoth. The most complete skeleton of this animal was found in 1996 in Serbia, and even though it's called a mammoth, that's something of a misnomer. The critter was actually the largest elephant that ever existed. Their fossils have also been located in France and the UK, and judging from such evidence, experts think the elephant would have stood at around 15 feet tall while weighing some 11 tons, making it bigger than a double-decker bus. They lived around 600,000 to 370,000 years ago, and ranged across northern Eurasia. Did you know this animal was the ancestor of the woolly mammoth? Dinotherium. This monster was a prehistoric relative to present-day pachyderms and made its first appearance in the Middle Miocene epoch. It was indeed thought to have resembled today's elephants, except for having a trunk that was shorter, that curved downward and were attached to the lower jaw, as opposed to the upper jaw, as is the case with elephants of today. The critter's fossils have been found in parts of Europe, Asia, and Africa, and indicate the creatures changed little over the course of time. Experts have estimated the big beast stood over 13 feet tall and weighed nearly 15 tons, making it among the largest land animals of all time. In addition to being related to elephants, these animals were also thought to be related to mastodons. Hornless rhinoceros. Paraceratherium was one of the largest creatures that ever trod the earth. Their fossils have been located from China to the Balkans, where they first appeared around 34 million years ago. Its size notwithstanding, this rhino was notable for another feature, or lack thereof. It had no horn, but it did have plenty of weight to throw around. Its weight has been estimated up to 44,000 pounds. At the shoulder, it would have stood nearly 16 feet high and measured more than 24 feet long. Exact sizes for the critter can't be known for absolute due to many of the fossils found so far being incomplete. But if the descriptions pieced together by experts are accurate, the animal would have had characteristics similar to an elephant, including pillar-like legs, tusks, and even a prehensile proboscis. It likely didn't have many predators given its enormity. They died out around 23 million years ago, but experts still don't know the definitive cause for their extinction. And before heading to our number 1 selection, here's an interesting critter we found while researching this episode. Andrewsarchus was identified by a single skull found in Mongolia in 1923. There's still some mystery about this land-dwelling mammal, which is actually thought to be related to whales and hippos, and lived around 45 million years ago. From the skull, experts have extrapolated that the animal could have been around 6 feet high at the shoulder and 12 feet long. While that would serve to make it the largest carnivorous land mammal that ever lived, we couldn't find an estimate for its weight or mass, hence the honorable mention. Asian straight-tusked elephant. So it shouldn't be much of a surprise that the largest critter on our list happens to be an elephant. The Asian straight-tusked elephant, or Paleoloxodon inhabited Asia, ranging from India to Japan. While we couldn't find where a complete skeleton of the animal had been reconstructed, experts have devised estimates of its size. Judging from a partial skeleton that was found in India, a total shoulder height of around 15 feet was estimated for that individual. Volumetric analysis of thigh bones found at a different location yielded estimates that were larger, indicating the creature had a height of more than 17 feet and weighed more than 24 tons, or around 48,000 pounds. That would serve to make this prehistoric pachyderm the largest land mammal known to date.
This is Throwback Thursdays.